Heat Vision's Top 10 Movies of 2025. From wildly original horror movies to animated movies that came out of nowhere, these were the best genre films of the year. Welcome to one of the first best of lists of 2026. It's also hopefully the last best of list of 2025. Genre movies, the movies that Heat Vision celebrates, covers, and reports on, had a banner year in 2025. Look no further than Thursday's DGA nominations, which saw Ryan Coogler snag a slot for his period vampire movie Sinners and Guillermo del Toro earn one for his adaptation of Frankenstein. You could even make a case that Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another is a kind of ersatz action thriller. And if you're willing to push it, argue Chloe Zhao's Hamnet is a ghost story, although we won't. It was a mixed bag for the genre that had dominated movie culture for close to a decade and a half. Superhero comic book movies had 4 releases, but they varied wildly in quality. We still maintain that Fantastic Four. First Steps had the year's best score and didn't engender the kind of fervor they once did. Horror, on the other hand, did dominate, with some of the most original voices and indelible imagery coming from the scary movie genre. Even the stuff that didn't work was interesting. Good Boy, a good half-hour short stretched to feature length. Horror Factory Blumhouse had a lot of movies. Some of them were even hits, but none seemed to have left a lasting impact. And kudos to the crossover material, such as The Long Walk, a gritty watch with excellent performance, and Companion, a fun romp with sci-fi elements that deserved a wider audience. Action movies, however, were mostly MIA in 2025. Where was the fun, the spectacle, the body count? Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning did boast set pieces that are mini-movies unto themselves, precise timepieces that click gears into place for a satisfying tick, tock, boom. But the movie itself was bloated and expository-laden, a meh ending to a great action series. At least they say it's the end. Sisu, The Road to Revenge made up for a lot of the genre's lost ground, providing pulpy exploitation fun and feeling like it was being made by a 10-year-old who was playing with toy soldiers. We've tried to watch as much as we could. We may have missed some, maybe some of your favorites, so feel free to let us know. Without further ado, the hopefully, probably, last top 10 movies lift of 2025, Heat Vision style. Nambar 10. 28 years later, Sony. At its best, that run back to safety amid the Aurora Borealis, 28 years later felt like the franchise's answer to Mad Max. Fury Road, taking a beloved property and elevating its tension and production value in ways you couldn't have imagined back when the original opened. Director Danny Boyle and writer Alex Garland's decades-in-the-making sequel mostly lived up to the pent-up demand, though the sharp left turn in the middle of the movie left some audiences feeling duped. Then again, that, built into the DNA of the franchise, remember the Army Base act in 28 Days Later. Nambar 9. Superman, DC Studios Warner Bros. James Gunn didn't thread a Superman needle as much as jam a fire hose to it and open it full throttle. A movie that swings from high highs to low lows. It was also the one big superhero movie with actual cool moments, almost any time Mr. Terrific was on screen, especially that beach fight sequence, and memorable character moments, almost any time Metamorpho or Jimmy Olsen were on screen. That, at its best, captured the fun of a Superman story. Nambar 8. K-pop Demon Hunters, Netflix. If you told us a year ago that a movie featuring a K-pop group would be in the Heat Vision Top 10, we would have revoked your geek credentials. But then came along this confection, a melange of Korean mythology, anime, martial artistry, and soul-sucking demons. And it's a musical. Directed by Maggie Kang and Chris Appelhans, the movie was years in the making, but somehow felt perfectly timed to our now, blasting you with a gleeful energy and pop concert visuals, and sucking you into its tractor beam of loony teenage angst and butt-kicking. The most infectious movie of the year. Nambar 7. Black Bag Focus Features. Movies about spies used to dangerous and sexy. Well, in the hands of director Steven Soderbergh and writer David Koepp, working in top form, they were once again. A delectably stylish movie follows an intelligence officer, Michael Fassbender, showing us he needs to be seen more often that has to find a traitor in his midst. And the list of suspects includes his wife, Kate Blanchett, mysterious. As good as the pair are, it's the supporting players that dazzle, particularly Marissa Abela. The movie kicks off with one of the best scenes of 2025, that dinner in which the truth drug is secretly administered and revelations spill out and takes you through a relationship minefield. Nambar 6. Final Destination, Bloodline's new line. Going into 2025, you would have been hard-pressed to think that a Final Destination movie would land on almost any top 10 list. But then again, none of them had the deft touch of Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein, who crafted a loving tribute to the franchise and then blew it into smithereens. Taking what makes a Final Destination movie so much fun, the filmmaker duo, with the help of such franchise newcomers as producer John Watts and co-writer Gary Busick, also make mini-movies an essential component of its kills, coming up with inventive and fun sequences that make you squirm with glee. Just a bloody good time. Nambar 5. Predator, Killer of Killers, 20th Century Studios Hulu. Predator movie with Vikings. Check. A Predator movie with samurais. Double check. A Predator movie with fighter planes over the skis of World War II Europe. Triple check. An action-packed, gory thrillfest that embraces the Predator DNA. Dan Trachtenberg and co-director Joshua Wishung treated viewers to compelling characters imbued with pathos and reasons for which to live, fight, and die. All wrapped up in a bow of beautiful, painterly, concept art come to life animation. A fanboy's dream. Nambar 4. Thunderbolts, Marvel Studios. One of the better Marvel movies in quite some time, even if, sadly, not that many saw it. One reason: it's a movie about something, in this case, mental health and depression, and the dark places we go in tough times. Reason number 2: Florence Pugh, truly a standout here as assassin Yelena Belova, bringing gravitas and pathos and humanity to a weary superhero movie genre. And then there is Lewis Pullman, the freshest and most exciting new face to the MCU in years, and who is able to go toe-to-toe with Pugh as vulnerable, wounded, and all-powerful Bob. Nambar 3. Frankenstein, Netflix. Guillermo del Toro finally achieves his dream of bringing Mary Shelley's novel to life, and it's everything you imagined a GDT opus would be. Melodramatic, romantic, operatic, sentimental, and lush. This is Hollywood's most gothic filmmaker using everything at his disposal to make an affecting father and son story, horror elements very much at the forefront, with the sexiest creature, a soulful Jacob Elordi, Shelley could have imagined. Nambar 2. Sinners, Warner Bros. A genre B-movie elevated to the highest order by a filmmaker in control and a knockout cast. Sinners was a vampire thriller that, yes, got its fangs into your neck, but it also hooked you by the ear with its depiction of the urgency of music for the Black community in the Jim Crow South. Playing twin brothers who take their ill-gotten gains to start a juke joint, Michael B. Jordan commands the movie with his performances, with the help from a stellar cast, from newcomer Miles Catton to heavy hitter Delroy Lindo, not mention the very able Haley Steinfeld and shady Jack O'Connell. Nambar 1. Weapons, New Line. Amid a swamp of mostly mediocre morass, Zach Cregger's horror masterpiece was like a needle shot of originality in the arm of summer movie blandness. A mosaic that slowly reveals a larger and terrifying story. The audience is always kept on its toes, as we follow a series of disparate characters dealing with the aftermath of a class of children going mysteriously missing. Spookiness and dread build slowly in some of the most memorable scenes of the year until the villain, both outrageous and creepy, is revealed. Aunt Gladys, played masterfully by Amy Madigan. But that is only half the story. The end, when it comes, is cathartic, funny, and terrifying, and it's only then do you realize you just got off a roller coaster designed by a master horror architect.